morning, and welcome to the Nerdy Book Club. Welcome to Administrative Coordinator Training. My name is Amanda Pinkstaff, and I am your facilitator for today. We friends are the paper pushers and the calendar keepers, and welcome to being the backbone of the board. Today we're going to cover a couple of things. Here's all the things, and all of this is up on the hub for you to go there and capture all. We're going to cover today the important things to remember the entire year. All the forms from the beginning to the middle and to the end. Everything comes through your president and with your president. We're going to go over what healthy priorities are, what your monthly requirements are, what your weekly requirements are, how to track all the stats, trials to anticipate, and then I'll cover some questions that came up during the live session. Always remember that we are workers together for Christ, like Alexis and Brenda also talked about. We want to lead women, we want to teach them, we want to develop, and we want to involve them as we go. So things to keep in mind all year long. First and foremost, be a servant leader. Don't ask your women to do something that you haven't done or won't do yourself. Show them, lead by example. That's what being a servant leader is. Keep up your personal prayer life. Ladies, always pray, 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 and pray some more. You should be waking up in the morning praying, asking God to be your strength. If you aren't, I encourage you to do this as part of your daily activity. Stay organized. Stay organized. Your home life is going to be different from your PWOC life, and those things should be separate. So stay organized in those things. Trust God. Trust Him in the gifts that He has given you to equip you for such a time as this. Work yourself out of a job. We'll talk more about that later. Always remember why you wanted to be involved with PWOC in the first place. Remember your passion. Remember your why. Why are you here? Why are you doing these things? Always go back to your passion. And your main job here, ladies, this entire year is the calendar. You are the calendar keeper. And your job is to keep everyone plugged in to that calendar. Okay? So, as you go through, remember all of these things. 7's a good number. 7 is a lovely and complete and holy, godly number. Remember these 7 things, and you're going to be off to a good start. Your main job is the calendar, though. So, from the beginning of the year, in the beginning, there was God. So, let's all start with God, and let's pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you for the opportunity that you have gifted us to be able to serve. Father God, as we serve through this year, we pray that we would bring your kingdom glory and that we would not seek glory for ourselves. Father God, we thank you for all of the obedience and the willingness that you have instilled in each one of us and each of the board members, Father, that we could serve faithfully through this year. Help our hearts, Father. Help us to have united hearts to serve faithfully through our whole year. Help us to keep our focus on you and not on all of the extra distractions, Father God. Help us to find joy in our nerdy handbook hearts, Father God. We thank you for this time and this ability and technology that you've afforded us to be able to have this training today. And we pray that the words that we speak today would be your words and not our own. Thank you, Lord Jesus. And it's in Jesus Christ's name we pray. Amen. So in the beginning, at the very first, you're going to collect all the continuity binders. Now, continuity binders there should be one for every single board position. Okay. You are first and foremost going to go through your binder, read all the things that are in your binder. Okay. If your binder is overwhelmingly full of things from years gone by, get rid of it. Get rid of it. I encourage you to recycle. Make this binder your own. You shouldn't have more than 3 years worth of information in that binder. The average life cycle for a military installation is only 3 years. Ladies, we move 1, 2, 3 years. So anything that's older than 3 years shouldn't be in there at all because it's irrelevant to you. It no longer matters. So if your binder has a bunch of information from years gone by, 10 years old, get rid of it. Recycle it, ladies. Do it. Make that binder your own. If you do not have a binder, please go to the hub, find the resources, print these resources out, encourage your president to make a binder for every single board position. We'll talk more about this later. Once you have collected all those binders, then I encourage you to go through them. Make sure everybody's binder makes sense. Make sure it all kind of looks uniform. Everybody should have at least a page or two out of the women's ministry manual of what their job entitles them to, what their job gives them the authority to do, what the expectations are from PWOC at large. So each binder should have some of the normal things, set things in there. Talk to your president. First and foremost, in the very beginning, talk to your president about what your expectations are, what you look forward to being able to see God do this year, and ask her what her expectations of you are so you know how you can serve her best. And then as the president appoints these board members on the appointed board, then you can distribute those binders appropriately to that president and equip those all of those board members to be able to have all of the information that they need at their fingertips. Okay. And the very first thing piece of information that they're going to need is a board roster. Ladies, you have the responsibility to build a board roster. Now, this is a very simple, easy, effective tool that you can do on Excel. It's a very easy Excel spreadsheet. And if you're an Excel nerd like me, which I feel like we're among friends right now, then you will know how to use Word and be able to build out all your board roster. It's going to have simple things like name, email, phone number, birthday anniversaries. Maybe your president is someone who wants to acknowledge a birthday and anniversary. These are things to track for you. You're also going to have a place for all the board positions on there. Each of these board positions, now this list can vary from installation to installation, from president to president. Maybe you have a huge installation and your president wants to have each board position is something just a little bit different. Maybe you need an AV board position, or maybe you're at a very tiny installation. You have 20 women in your PWOC and you're saying, there's no way I can have an in-reach and an outreach person. They can be the same board position. So talk with your president about what board positions she would like to have on her board. These are 17 different board positions, and that's a lot of people. So keep that in mind as you go forward, the amount of people that you're involving. You want to involve a lot, right? You want to get your whole body going. So also, don't forget this Privacy Act statement, ladies. Down here on the bottom right, there is a Privacy Act statement. This statement you can get off of the hub, and it needs to go on anything that has personal, private information. Phone number, email, address, name, all of these things. This Privacy Act statement will also need to be on the main body roster, which is something that the participation coordinator will need to have as well. So that needs to go in her binder. So make sure you get that Privacy Act statement, okay? The next thing you're going to do is build a calendar with your president. Everything goes through your president, ladies. Everything that you're doing at the very beginning, all of this stuff needs to go through your president, okay? Now, I've given you two options here. One is a whole year calendar. This shows you every day, Saturdays and Sundays too. Or on the right, You have a weekly calendar that is PWC specific, okay? And then you also need to have a place on the side for what is actually going on those dates. So be specific. Both of these things can be created in in Word or Excel. So these things are also on the hub for you to gather. Ladies, your job is that calendar. Everything you do comes off of that calendar. So you are going to need to plan out your year in advance. This is a tool that's also on the hub that I've uploaded for you to be able to see how you can back plan throughout the year. Okay, so keep in mind, first and foremost, your job started at installation. You started working in May. Now time. It's go time. Your job starts now. You can be doing little things like getting, starting that calendar, like getting those binders, like doing all of these little things. You can start that now and put that on this position calendar, June and July. Here are the things, this is the dates that I'm doing. Here's what I'm doing. Here's what I anticipate to do. And you also need to be back planning on things. Start for next May, work your way backwards, because your job is also to pay attention to this calendar and to build reminders off of this calendar. Okay, ladies? So in May, next May is installation. Your year's done. Yay! Oh, but wait. 6 weeks prior to that, we've got to start putting in PORs, purchase order requests. Hey, board members, don't forget that. And then work your way back. Or also, you need to remind the board members when they're going to need to be ready for a board meeting, when they're going to need to have these board reports ready. We're going to talk more about board reports and things like that later. So you're going to need to have those reminders set for yourself, and then that way you can push them out to the board, okay? So if you can, stay 3 to even 6 weeks in advance. If you can keep your president looking farther out in advance, the better off you're going to be, the easier job you're going to have. So make sure that you are setting your own personal calendar reminders for when board reports are due, when board meetings are happening, for when you need announcements given to you, for when you need to be recording volunteer hours in VMIS. And we'll talk more about VMIS later, the Volunteer Management Information System. So we'll talk more about that in a little bit too. So make sure that you've got your reminders in place for yourself for when you need to push that information out to the ladies, and remind your board of all of these things too, okay? All the forms. There are so many forms, ladies, and you're gonna feel overwhelmed, but don't feel overwhelmed, okay? Do not feel overwhelmed. Everything is very easy and it's all provided to you. You're not recreating the wheel here. All of these things are already there for you at your fingertips. You have resources that you can get, okay? All of these things that I'm showing you today are on the hub. So go back, go to the hub, go to your board resources, go under admin coordinator, and my training information is there, okay? So all the forms, you're gonna have board reports, you're gonna have after action reviews for events, an in-reach event, bunco night, all the things, all the little things. Then each board member is going to fill out an after action review for the entire year, and that's going to happen at the end. And then you're also going to have a tracking sheet, and this tracking sheet is going to track your volunteer hours. It's going to track the weekly attendance at your PWOC gathering. It's going to track your children and how many childcare rooms you had. And you're also going to want to track tithing, which is that money that people are donating to there, okay? Talk to your financial liaison. She is getting educated currently too, to understand what that tithing looks like and where that goes and how it all happens. Understand that tithing during PWOC goes straight into your PWOC account. It doesn't go back to the chapel, it goes straight to PWOC. So encourage your women to tithe for PWOC as well. Okay. So board reports. Here are two different styles of board reports, right? So on the left, you have the traditional hub style report. Okay. On the hub, this is the board report that they have available to you. Now, I encourage you, I've also updated this board report that's on the right. Update, personalize it. On the right at the top, we've put our vision verse at the top to remind the women what we've done, what our mission is, what our theme is. And then we've put our tagline, saved by grace, created in Christ, and walking together. From that vision verse, we've broken down and gotten a tagline. And under each one of those are little tiny small questions to say, hey, how have you seen God save you by grace this month? How have you seen, what is God doing around you? Okay. So update it, personalize it, simplify this board report. That will help you get your board members to do it. Okay. Next are the after action reviews. Again, traditional hub style or updated and personalized. Ladies, there's nothing wrong with the hub style. Okay. Nothing wrong with the traditional hub style. It has all the questions. It has all the information that you need. I'm simply offering you an opportunity to update it and personalize it to your own personal installations, theme, and mission and vision. Okay. So either one works totally fine. Do either one. The after action review for the entire year looks a little bit different, has a little bit different questions than this after action review, but it's also on the hub, so you can check that out. Okay. All right. Here is another form that you can download. This is a simple Google search. It's DA form 4713. This is a daily volunteer tracking time record. That's all. It's an Excel spreadsheet, and it just allows the opportunity for ladies to record each day their volunteer hours. Now, I encourage you to create a spreadsheet that tracks these board members' names, their monthly hours, the weekly gathering PWC attendance, and the weekly tithing. Now, as far as volunteer hours, I want to encourage you that all hours matter and all hours count. I'll talk to you about VMIS in 1 second. But I do want to encourage you, anytime you're praying, anytime you're sending out an email, anytime you're texting, anytime you're explaining a form, anytime you're opening on your computer a spreadsheet that pertains to PWOC, those are volunteer hours, okay? And then I want you to round up to the nearest 30 minutes, okay? Because I guarantee you there's times where you're vacuuming and you're thinking about, this is how I'm going to create that email to the body. Or there's times where you are cooking dinner and you're thinking about something PWOC. That's volunteer time. I want you to round up, okay? So driving, prayer time, all day main PWC gathering days, that's an easy 4 hours because you are there as a leader representing, being a servant leader, right? So all of that time counts. Driving home, that counts. So make sure that you're including all of those hours. The VMIS system is the volunteer management system. And this is something that the Army has specifically. And I know the Air Force tracks volunteer hours as well. You'll need to go to your resource center, your post or your base resource center, and ask about that. Involve your president, involve your chaplain advisor as well. They are your places to start on how you guys can show all these volunteer hours. Now, if you are Army and you're going to go to My Army OneSource, this here is the login screen that I've shown you. Firefox is the best website, the web browser for this site. It is an Army site. Therefore, it is very restrictive. So Firefox is probably the best browser. It will work on Safari, but you'll have some hitches. So know how to apply for a position. Know who your OPOC is. That is the organization point of contact. So each organization that has volunteers has a point of contact, and they are the ones that are approving all of these hours. Okay, so know who that person is. It could be you. I know that there are several times I've served and I've been able to be that OPOC, which means I can approve those hours and help my organization, my PWOC. I'm able to directly help those ladies log those hours. Those hours matter and they count. A couple years ago when I did the research, each volunteer hour was worth $25.33. So every volunteer hour that you record and that you put into this system, you are saving the Department of Defense $25.33, right? So they want to see where their money is going, and they also want to see how much money they're saving. They're bottom line kind of people, right? So they need to see those numbers. So these matter. Also, the other thing about VMIS, the really cool thing is that while you are a stay-at-home mom or the homemaker or don't have a job that pays physical money, we get paid in Jesus dollars. This is a helpful tool to build your resume. So I haven't been in the workforce for X amount of years. Well, this allows me to show what I've been doing for those X amount of years with my time. I'm not out of the loop completely, right? So this helps you build your resume. So know how to log those hours. There's 3 different ways to log hours. One way is to do it by period of time. So that allows you to build in your hours for 1 month. So you'll have a drop-down box for the year and a drop-down box for the month. So you'll be able to log per month. There's another option that allows you, option number 2, that allows you to record for every 2 weeks. So it's just going to pull up a 2-week calendar. You'll plug in numbers per day, and that allows you to do it that way. The third option to log is daily. Now, if you log daily, it gives you the opportunity to put a little note beside it to say, I did 4 hours, and these are the things that I did in those 4 hours. Now, if you can get into that or make a note for yourself or something like that, that will make it easier for you to do a board report later. So keep that in mind. Recording what your hours are, how many hours, and what you were doing in those hours. 2 very important things, okay? Information sheets. You like that? You are the information collector. You are the information gatherer and holder. You are a QR code, my friend. You've got it all. So information sheets are general contact information of these women. It is their family information. It is deployment information. And then you want to know how they feel that they can get involved, or afford them opportunities to say, I'd like to do that, or tell me more about that. So here's a mock information sheet, and I did give this to you on the hub, and it is very simple. So on the left this is your general information, your name, your email, cell phone, and then your husband, your children. And then also, ladies, don't forget, along with that Privacy Act statement, you need to get permission. Get permission to take photos of these ladies, or record the Zoom session that you're in, or things like that. So make sure you've got these little things at the bottom that give you that permission to be electronically sharing these women and their faces and some of their information, not all of it. So on the right, then you'll see some more detailed things about these ladies. What about your kids? Are they coming with you? Do we need to worry about a homeschool room? That is a very real thing for a lot of PWOCs. So this is all good information to have. Will my service member be deployed? what am I willing to do? What are my gifts? And all this information can come together and be collected and be able to show you how to involve these women. So here's the really cool thing. You are the forms girl. You get the forms and then you delegate and you give this to your participation chair. She gets this out to the body. She coordinates all of the information, and then she can get back to you on saying, hey, I need this email address for this board member so I can send her these names. Okay? So your job is to get them this form. You don't have to fill out the form. You don't have to do all the things, right? So delegate this out. Get the form together, create it with your president, and then whoop, out to the participation gal. Very easy, right? Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. Now, you're going to want to set up your email account, your main body PWC email account. If you do not have an email account for your PWC specific, I would encourage you with your president to make one. Make sure that you are not the only one with the password to get in. Your president should also have that password. And in there, you're going to update the contacts. You're going to create a group for board members only. So you can just click on the group email, and then you're going to create groups for the entire body email. Okay. So next thing with your president is you're going to record or make a weekly PWC gatherings schedule. So this is very predictable, very easy time flow of your morning. When do we actually start our meeting? When are we affording them fellowship? When are we doing announcements? When are we actually breaking for class? How much time are we giving the facilitators for class? Are we doing class first? Are we doing main body time? This is where, when does childcare end? When does watch care end? These are things you'll definitely need to have in a timeline. And this should be the same every week. It needs to be predictable for the ladies to be involved and be plugged into it. If it's constantly changing, oh, we're going to do fellowship first this week and we'll do worship first next week, your body of believers is going to be very confused, and they're not going to want to do it. People like predictability. They like a schedule. Your children like a schedule. Think of it that way, okay? So make this with your president. Next up is Serve Our Sisters. Now this is a form that is very easy to create. I'm sure that I have a Serve Our Sisters form. I did not upload it for you because it can change per installation, okay? So why do we operate with SOS? Why do we do Serve Our Sisters? Because we want to give our body buy-in. They want to be able to serve the body as well. Maybe they don't want to step up and do a full board position, but hey, maybe I cook really good tiny cheesecake bites, and I feel like everybody would be blessed by those tiny cheesecake bites. Give them an opportunity to bring those tiny cheesecake bites, okay? It's all about them. So with your president and your board, decide what duties you'd like each class to take over. Snacks, trash, setup of the rooms, tithing, counting assistance. Your financial liaison is going to need somebody to help be her backup for authenticity. You want to have a greeters. You're going to want a newcomer partner. You've got an introvert coming in the door. I don't know anybody. I'm brand new to this base, this post, this installation. I'm just going to sit in a sea of people and get lost. No, you want to have somebody there that's going to greet them, that is going to show them to their classroom. Now, this is greatly upon the greeter and the newcomer partner. They are greatly on the participation chair, but you need to give the opportunity for sisters to sign up to do those jobs. Okay, so they will then in turn, those names get passed off to the participation chair. So once you decide what duties each class is going to do every week, you're going to divide it by class. And this is when your VPSL, your Vice President of Spiritual Life, comes in. She is going to say, I think that my Jesus class is going to be the biggest class. And that's the one you want to start with. And then I think my Paul class is going to be the smallest class. And that's the one that's going to go last. Okay. So other people can kind of fill in and share and help that small class. So the week you're going to have kickoff. And then the week after kickoff, your board is going to do Serve Our Sisters. Okay. If this is a brand new concept, what a better time to lead by example and be servant leaders to this body of believers and show them how it's done. Okay. So they're going to need to understand, you need to understand what you're asking these women to do. And remember, we're not doing anything that we won't do ourselves or we haven't done before. Okay. We're not asking these ladies to do anything outside of those two items. So that's the why, the how, and the when. Okay. And here's another delegation point. Yay. You make this sign-up sheet, you hand it off to your VPSL, and that VPSL then distributes to her facilitators, her teachers, all of that. So you don't actually have to deal with this except who is on the calendar, what class is serving that week, okay, on your calendar. So that's where you come in, on the calendar. Now, the next is the middle. What you need to maintain and do throughout the entire year. Ladies, during this, I want you to make a mental note. Try to attend all meetings. If your president is doing a coffee hours at a local coffee shop, and it's like an office hours, you want to try and be there so you can be in the know. So you know what's coming, what's being talked about, what is being affected on the calendar. So if you've got good idea fairies that say, oh, we can do it on this day at this time. And you can say, well, actually, we already have this happening on this day at that time. So this time is open. So this is where you come in. So try to work to attend all of those meetings, and all of that information flow can be yours. Okay. Next thing is healthy priorities, ladies. If you do not walk away from this slideshow or from this training with anything else, I want you to walk away with healthy priorities. PWOC has, because we're so excited, we're so passionate about Jesus, and we want to do all of the good things, right? But not at the cost of our own personal health, our own personal relationship with God, not at the cost of our children, of our husband. We don't want to do that. So healthy priorities, keep them. The first healthy priority is the very number one thing for you to remember is your relationship with God. You need to be waking up in the morning praying, and praying some more. Make sure that you are taking that daily time to walk with God, to make sure that you are being focused and recentered on what He would have you do, not on what you want or somebody else around you wants you to do. Okay? The next thing is your personal health. You've got to work out. You've got to eat. You've got to drink water. You've got to caffeinate. You've got to do all the things. Make sure that you are staying healthy, spiritually and physically. Okay? These are very important. The third thing on your healthy priorities list is your husband. He is the one that you are working together in your home to get closer to God. So make sure that your husband is number one after you. Okay? Next are your children. They will not allow you to forget them. So therefore, they are number 4 on your list of healthy priorities. So make sure you take care of them. They should know that your ministry work, your volunteer work doesn't supersede them. They aren't getting forgotten. Okay? You're making cupcakes, or you're making those little cheesecake squares for PWC. Bet your sweet Bippy, you need to be making cheesecake squares for the people that live in your home. They need to know that the overflow is your service to PWOC and them first, okay? So relationship with God, personal health, husband, children. The next thing is if you have an outside job, go ahead and do that. Make sure those tasks are not going to go away. You're going to have to get those done. The next thing is home management. Friends, clean your floors. Do the dishes. All these things still have to happen. And the very last thing is PWC ministry and all of your volunteering. If you're doing that at the school or Red Cross, PWC, that is the last thing on your healthy priorities list. That's the last thing that gets done. It's not first in the morning. Okay? So make sure that you keep these healthy priorities. It's very important. PWC has an opportunity to take over all of your time and your brain space, but you have to fight to not let it. Okay? It's a perfectly wonderful ministry. I have a deep passion for PWC. I've got the swag, the shirt, the earrings. I've got the necklaces. I got it all, friends. But I've also lived through it taking over my life. So don't let it do that. Don't let it supersede your husband and your children and your God. Okay? And your God. The other thing I want to remind you of is to review Matthew 18. This is a place in the Bible, and it tells us how to godly and healthy. It's a godly and healthy and orderly way to resolve conflict. So I want you to go ahead and review and read Matthew 18 and make sure that your president is aware that you know Matthew 18 and that that's something you review with the board as well. So everybody can stay in a healthy place. Okay. So the next thing to do that we're going to talk about is the monthly things that you have to do. So there are requirements for you to reserve chapel space wherever you do your PWC meeting, in the RSO, in the chapel, in the park. I don't know, all the places that you are creatively meeting with PWC. You need to be able to reserve that space for you. So that's yours. You should keep these chapel reservations on paper and electronically. I would do it both ways, okay? You also need to make sure that your calendar stays up to date, that you are reminding for board reports, that you're collecting these board reports, that you are sending it to your president for approval, and then out to the board. You're also going to remind your ladies when to record their VMIS hours. You're going to create a board meeting agenda with your president. And then you're going to be recording all the meeting notes, okay? So after you do those meeting notes, you're going to record those in the meeting. And then after the meeting, you're going to get them organized and make them look real good and make sense off of that board meeting agenda. And then you're going to send it out to the board so they understand. So everybody's on the same understanding that this is what we talked about in the board meeting and this is what is coming up next from this board meeting, okay? The weekly to-dos. These are the things that you're going to do every single week. You're going to collect all of the announcements from all of the board members because there's outreach things happening, there's participation things happening, there's in-reach things happening, there's VPSL things happening. All of these announcements, you're going to collect them all. And then you're going to make flyers, slides, announcement sheets. However, you are disseminating that information, getting that information out, you're going to make that available. So you're going to post to Facebook. You're going to send out that email to the body every week. You're going to be doing these things with the announcements. Okay. Every week you're going to get in contact with the participation. Now I recommend you do this on your PWC gathering day. Okay. You're going to get with participation and say, hey, what are the newcomers? And you're going to update your email distro list. Okay. In your email account. And then every week you're going to track the attendance. Every week, you're going to want to reach out to those board members who are going to give you this information flow, right? You're going to delegate out. You don't have to do all of these things. You are delegating this out. So you're going to reach the financial liaison and you're going to say, hey, what was our tithing number? You're going to reach to the watch care coordinator who's coordinating all your child watch care. And you're going to ask them, how much tithing did we have? How many kids did we have? What was our attendance for the day? How many newcomers did we get? You're going to get that information from participation. Okay. So you're going to track all of this on one beautiful, easy sheet. Okay. So make sure you set up that system at the very beginning. Okay. Talk to all those board members. Hey, I think on this day, at this time, every week, every month, whatever, we need to get together so we can make sure that the information flow is happening both ways, right? Okay. Friends, you need to finish strong until the end. Start strong, stay strong through the middle, and finish strong by always remembering why you're doing this in the first place. Why are you here? Remember your why. Remember the passion and the love you have for Jesus and for the word to get out. And that ability is through this ministry of PWOC. You reach so many women. So remember your why. Remember the passion that you have for this at the very beginning. Okay? So remember that board position calendar I showed you way back in the beginning, right? So you're going to want to set up a timeline. Set up these timelines for the final board meeting. Set up a timeline for, in the end, you're going to want to set up a timeline for the date to collect all those binders, when they should have their after action reviews for the year done. Make sure all board members know how to fill those out and what we're looking for. Ladies, we're creating a legacy. We're creating a beautiful resource for ladies in the future. You are now part of this legacy of PWOC. How exciting and encouraging. So I encourage you now to continue and encourage your ladies on your board to be part of that legacy with you, okay? And how you do that and how to encourage that, that's just one way to keep them motivated to do these board reports, right? These board reports are going to be super hard to get every month. You're going to have one lady who says, I'm not going to do that. You're going to have to just deal with that. Now, ladies, remember, if you have a problem, an issue of any kind, first and foremost, pray. And secondly, talk to that board member. Hey, why are you not giving me a board report, man? What's going on? What's happening? Is it too much? Like, figure out why they're not doing it. And then if they're still just like, I'm not going to do it. I'm not a paper girl. I'm not going to do it. Then you need to go talk to your president and allow your president to do her job. Your president can then go talk to her and say, look, and impart to her the reason why these board reports are so important. Okay? Because the board reports help the board to see not what you as individuals are doing. These board reports help everybody see what God's doing. What is God doing? Ladies, you have a front row seat to see God in action. Take advantage of that. Record every detail of what God is doing. And that's what this board report is for. So how do you motivate these board members to get these board reports done? First and foremost, be kind and be gracious. They've got kids, they've got husbands, they've got dinner, they got dirty floors too, okay? They've got tasks. So be kind and be gracious. Give them grace. Some people are going to be late. It's going to happen. But be kind, okay? The second thing is remind them with a set and predictable schedule. Just like your kids really respond to being on a schedule, these women need that set and predictable schedule. So set that reminder for you to then push out a reminder to them. Hey, friends. And it starts after the board meeting, okay? Hey, friends, it was a great board meeting. Our next board meeting is this date. Hey, I'm going to need those board reports on this date, a week before the board meeting. Okay. So the other thing is to make it easy. If it's really detail-y oriented and 18 questions, ladies aren't going to want to do it. Keep it simple. Keep it easy. Remember, I gave you the permission earlier to update it, personalize it. Keep it simple. Keep it easy. At the very beginning of your serving, right after you're done with this, go through it with your president. Figure out what you want those board reports to say, what you want to know. What's the point? Ask your president, what's the point of this board report? What information do you want to know? And it should be to find out what God's doing through each of these board positions. So you want to walk through it at your very first board meeting. At the board retreat, if you guys are doing a board retreat, you need to tell your president, I want time at this board retreat so I can walk through these reports with these ladies. I want to show them what this looks like. Walk through it. And then also, ladies, be encouraging. Set the example. You have a board report to do too. And this is not about bragging. Again, this is about what God's doing through you. You are the vessel and you're doing his good works. So I went to training. I prayed. I talked to so-and-so about such and such. All of these things, you list all of those things out because these are all the things that God equipped you to do for the good of this ministry. Okay? So set the example. Do the board report. You can walk through, when you're walking through this board report, you can put some examples on there of what you have already done, especially to these appointed board members who are not appointed yet. They're coming. Don't worry. Ladies, also remember, don't let your president have a free pass. She's responsible to do a board report as well. She's been doing things for this ministry, and she's been an open vessel. Don't let her get overwhelmed with all of the other things that she's doing in service and not do a board report. Your board members, all of the board members, you, yourself, you need to see what your president's doing to be encouraged in your job. Okay? So make sure that you and the president lead by example. Do a board report. It's very important. Okay? So the next thing is there will be trials. As you step forward in leadership, you get a bigger target on your back. The devil will step up his efforts to put stumbling blocks in your path. And your job is to keep your eyes on Christ and to keep remembering why you do this. But also anticipate the trials. Be ready for them, okay? Because they will come. They will come. So first and foremost, these are all of these listed on this slide here are things that have happened in my personal walk through PWOC. Chapel request forms have been lost. No, you guys aren't on the schedule to have the RSO next week. Sorry, what? This is why you have your paper and your electronic copy. Also, when you're filling out these forms, you're sending it to 3 different people, okay? 3. One is your president. Your president should be on the CC line of most any email that you send out. The second person that needs to have this chapel request form is going to be the chaplain advisor. And the third person on that chapel request form email is going to the person who's actually coordinating the chapel, okay? Now, if you're doing everything through your chaplain advisor, fantastic. That's one less person that you've got to deal with. But I encourage you, know who that person is. Because your chaplain advisor is not perfect. Things are going to happen. So be prepared. Know who you've got to talk to accomplish all of these tasks, okay? You're also going to get there and the building's going to be locked or rooms are going to be locked. You've got to know who's got those keys. Again, if you're going everything through your chaplain advisor, fantastic. Call them immediately after you call your president. But know who actually has those keys, okay? Because your chaplain advisor, this is not his only job. He's got a job in the service. He is a military member. He's got a job elsewhere. PWOC is not his only job. So he might be busy. He can't contact. You've got to know who to go to, okay? You're also going to run into calendar times and dates are taken. Have a backup plan, okay? Always have a backup plan. Encourage your board members who want to do all of these fun things and involve your women. Okay, Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 9 a.m., that's taken. You got to have a different place to do that, or you've got to have a different day and time. You got to know these things, okay? You got to have the backup plans. There's going to be miscommunication with your president. Friends, I encourage you to be oversharers, over-communicate. It is very rarely a problem, over-communication, okay? Unless you're sharing things that should not be shared. I would encourage you to be open, honest, and transparent with your president. Truth and transparency, friends, this is what is going to get you a very good year. Truth and transparency with everybody. But your president, you need to make sure that she understands your motivations to why you're doing these things. She needs to hear them. She needs to understand, which is why it's very important at the very beginning to have that meeting with her and say, here's my expectations. What are your expectations of me? Okay. And then you're going to have some board members who want to take advantage of your time and your efforts. Friends, this is a perfect time to redirect them into developing other women. So if you've got a board member that says, hey, you're at the chapel anyway, or hey, scratch that. Hey, I need you to make these copies for me. You can say, is there anybody on your team that could do that? Do you have a team? Hey, let's go talk to the participation chair. She's got a list of people who love making copies, and they could be on your team. Involve the women of the body. Refocus that board member off of you. You're not just a secretary, friends. You are not a secretary. Redirect that board member to involve the women of the body. Okay? So it's perfect time for that. Next are questions. Ladies, we had some fantastic questions that I want to go over really fast for us. Let's see. Does the participation coordinator manage the volunteer hours? Some places, yes, that is doable. Other places, no, it's on the admin coordinator. Talk it over with your president. Find out what her definition of each board member. Find out what her expectations of that board member are. Okay. Let's see. We had a lot of VMIS questions. Now, if you have VMIS questions, please contact your OPOC, your organization point of contact. Talk to your president about that, or contact me again directly. My email address is amandapinkstaff@gmail.com. AMANDAPINKSTAFF@gmail.com. I am happy to help anywhere I possibly can. So please feel free, email me, and I will give you as much information as I have available to me. Okay? Let's see. For slides, we had ladies recommend Canva. It's an app on your phone, or PowerPoint is also a very good place to use or to make slides for your information sharing. Okay. Let's see. What other questions do we have? Can you change the list of requirements for your board in those binders? Absolutely. Update, make them your own. Not every installation is going to have the same availability of things at their fingertips, right? They're not going to have the availability of certain equipment or resources. So you've got to update and make it your own for each installation, okay? Now, if you don't have binders, friends, if you do not have continuity binders, please get on the hub, look through the Women's Ministry Manual on page 39. Again, that's page 39 in the Women's Ministry Manual. Get on there. On there is on that page is the continuity binder requirements, forms requirement sheets. So it will tell you each item that is suggested to be in that binder. Now, again, you can adjust it to your installation, okay? Let's see, what else did we want to talk about here? It can be very frustrating to get all of these board reports from your board members. Ladies, just remember, have grace and have patience. And that's why I'm telling you at the very beginning, make it easy. Make it easy for yourself and make it easy for them, okay? And again, if your binder is incomplete or if it has a ton of stuff from things that are no longer relevant to you, get rid of it. Recycle it out. Shred it. Make sure that if it does have personal information on there, if it's got somebody's email address or somebody's phone number on there, shred it for them. Please shred it. But otherwise, 3 years is the max that you should have information in that binder. Okay, 3 years. Don't forget what I said about the life cycle of a military installation. Okay, let's see. If you are starting from scratch, do not feel overwhelmed, ladies. Do not feel overwhelmed. Pray, talk to your president, and reach out to the resources that you have available to you. I am a resource. The hub is a resource. Other ladies who have been around the block a while, you've got retirees, I'm sure, and they've all served as well, okay? So make sure that you are utilizing these things. Okay. Ladies, those are all of the questions I have for you today. I encourage you to email me if you have anything that you have a question about. Again, my name is Amanda Pinkstaff, and my email is amandapinkstaff@gmail.com. So we are here for you. Thank you so much for being a part of this. And remember that the ministry, the aims, and the mission, they do not change based on your circumstances. Jesus is the same today as he was yesterday, and he will be tomorrow. So don't forget why you're here. Why are you doing this? Be kind and always expect the best from the ladies that you're serving with. Don't assume the worst. Expect the best. Give them the benefit of the doubt, okay? Remember, they've got extra stuff happening as well. So thank you for your service. Congratulations on the opportunity to serve, and I look forward to being a help for you whenever you need it. Thank you so much, and enjoy your year.